Stockton opened with the first commercial ocean-going vessel deep-water vessel to come to the port. Yeah, that was February 2nd, 1933. So now, 80 years later, we are all here, and thank you so much for coming to celebrate that great event and to actually celebrate where the port is today. The Port of Stockton is a port of ships, a port of environmental responsibility, and a port of agriculture. The Port of Stockton is a port of exports, a port of imports, and a port of manufacturing and distribution. Can I help you with that? The Port of Stockton is an international, national, regional, and local port. Since our 75th anniversary celebration 5 years ago, right here, the Port of Stockton has attracted $2 billion in new private sector projects, hosted 825 ships and barges carrying cargo valued at more than $5 billion, and generated more than $41 million in tax revenue for the city of Stockton and San Joaquin County. But most importantly, so get that applause ready to go again, because most importantly, the Port of Stockton is a port of jobs. Jobs on our docks, jobs in our warehouses, jobs in manufacturing, and jobs on the railroads. Jobs driving trucks, jobs in marketing, jobs in accounting, jobs in maintenance, jobs in public safety, jobs in construction, and jobs in environmental stewardship. Combined, the Port of Stockton is a port generating more than 4,500 jobs for Stockton and the greater San Joaquin County. Also, the future looks very bright for the Port of Stockton, as we are currently negotiating new projects valued at more than $1.3 billion in private sector investment, working on attracting new maritime cargoes and inaugurating a new delivery system for container traffic we call the Marine Highway. By the end of this spring, the Marine Highway will be in service, using our ship channel to carry goods and containers by barge from the Central Valley of California to the world, giving businesses the ability to move their products quickly, safely, while improving the air quality for all the citizens of San Joaquin Valley. This new service will be possible because of the active guidance of our Board of Port Commissioners, including Elizabeth Blanchard, Board Chair, Stephen Griffin, our Vice Chair, and Commissioners Jay Allen and Victor Mao. 3 of our current board members have been actively involved in the Marine Highway project since they approved expenditures for the very first study more than 10 years ago. These gentlemen are Gary Christopherson, Ronald Cole, and Sam Tacola. In addition, the overall success of the port would not be possible without the guidance and support of a number of leaders of our community, many of whom are here tonight. Representing the City of Stockton, Mayor Anthony Silva, Vice Mayor Paul Canepa, and Council members Kathy Miller, Moses Sapien, He's going to have a fundraiser in the back here afterwards, so just get your checkbooks out. Diane Burgos and Michael Tubbs. I think it's a joint fundraiser between the two. Representing San Joaquin County are the members of the Board of Supervisors, Ken Vogel, Chairman, Bob Elliott, Vice Chairman, Larry Rustaller, Steve Vestoritas, and Carlos Villapudua. Also here tonight, another elected official from San Joaquin County, Sheriff Steve Moore. And Sheriff, you gotta come out here. I gotta point this out. This was not a black tie optional or a black tie event. So your staff misadvised you, so you gotta work on that. But you look terrific in a tux. Also here tonight, representing our Congressman Jerry McNerney is our good friend, Gary Proust, who does a great job. And then representing State Senator Kathleen Galciani is Chris Carrillo, Max Vargas, and Marion Norris. And actually representing Supervisor Villapudua is Greg Tzakis. I should do a better job on that, I'm sorry. A fellow Greek. Also in attendance tonight is Deputy City Manager Kurt Wilson and Stockton Fire Chief Jeff Picura. I'm also pleased to introduce two of the people whose skills are actually used on our docks. Members of the International Longshore Workers Union. First, the President of Local 54, Mr. Mark Cuevas, and Mr. Frank Riley, the President of Local 34. Also here tonight are members of what I call the Port of Stockton Alumni Association. And we have many here, but I would like to take some time to introduce some former commissioners. Bob Kavanaugh, Steve Herron, Bob Foy, the other person here tonight with a bow tie, and Paul Fairbrook, and former Port Director Alexander Kreisman. And now I'm very pleased to introduce the chair of the Port of Stockton Board of Port Commissioners, Elizabeth Blanchard.
Thank you all for being here. It's our pleasure. You know, our success story is your success story also, because it's your continuing support that makes the port the leading inland port of California. And the director wrote me a speech, but he actually wrote the same thing he talked about. So, thank you for coming.
Celebrate the 80th anniversary, Port of Stockton, California's leading inland port. But anyway, we talk about the arrival of the Daisy Gray. The Daisy Gray arrived with great fanfare, and the port has experienced the effects of economic depression, wars, economic growth, fiscal challenges, unprecedented expansion due to and our continuing investment in our 2,000-acre port. And then, one thing I didn't mention is that the port has become a leading bulk and break bulk port in California and the second busiest inland port in the entire U.S. West Coast. And then this last calendar year, 2012, if Commissioner Blanchard wasn't so shy, she would tell you that the port hosted 209 vessels at our docks, the second busiest year in the last 35 years. And then, this has led to the creation of hundreds of family wage jobs, which I did mention. But what I did not mention was that this was all done without taxing the citizens of the Stockton Port District. We live and die off of the decisions we make and what we do on the docks, and it doesn't cost the Stockton Port District, which is the city of Stockton, it doesn't cost the citizens of Stockton one dime. So, let's see, what else did I not mention here that I want to... Okay, oh yes, and then we want to thank, if Commissioner Blanchard wanted to, she would have thanked all of you for your continuing support, and we hope that you enjoy this wonderful museum, the exhibit of the 80-year history of the port, and the food and refreshments representing just some of the 55 countries that are trading partners of the Port of Stockton. So thank you again for attending this event. Thank you, Commissioner Blanchard, for giving me a second bite of the apple. And I am now very pleased to introduce the Vice Mayor of the City of Stockton, Mr. Paul Canepa.
That's a tough act to follow there. I was born and raised here, so I remember back in the day, my mom used to take us back down to Charter Way and go to Jolly's bait shop and get us bait. And then she would proceed to take us to over by the port and leave us there to go fishing. And she would leave us there, and then we'd catch catfish, and we were too chicken to take the catfish off of the hook. So we'd have to wait for anybody that was coming and walking by to take the catfish off the hook. So it was absolutely crazy, because no one would ever think of letting your kid do that today. Obviously, my mom thought it was no problem. So I've been watching the port for many, many years. My family's business has been washing port cars for very, very many years. So the money that the port spends and infuses into the city of Stockton is huge. The jobs that they provide are huge. Also, being on the city council, we get to pick port commissioners who are doing a very outstanding job and making the port and obviously Rough and Ready Island a lot more of a diamond in the rough. Obviously, I've been to a lot of the port things, so I could probably do the PowerPoint that you just did. But obviously the port is very, very vital to the city of Stockton. The jobs that it provides, the resources that it has towards the city of Stockton as far as jobs, spending money in the community, the multiplier effect of people making good wage jobs and spending it in the city of Stockton is deeply appreciated. And me, my whole vice mayor job of 4 days, is still Paul, family-owned operated business, and we appreciate the port's effect. I'm sure everybody else in the city of Stockton appreciates what you guys have done. Thank you for having us here at this venue. It's very, very nice, the food, the beverages. Thank you for your hospitality, and the city of Stockton appreciates having the port as one of its mainstays. So thank you very much.
I'm now very pleased to introduce the Honorable Ken Vogel, Chairman of the great county of San Joaquin.
First of all, I want to thank you for inviting us to be part of this. What I am going to do, though, is have Rick give my speech for me. He does such a great and I do appreciate starting on time. I think he actually started a few minutes early. And that's unusual for a ceremony like this. So, Rick, you're very much appreciated. What you do here tonight, but what you do also for the Port of Stockton, for this city, this community, and this county. The Port of Stockton is a jewel. 80 years we've seen through ups and downs, but where we started and where we are now and where we plan to be in the future. The Marine Highway, we look forward to that so very much. The port being a hub of that with the railroads, connections to the airport, we always want to pitch the airport too, as far as commerce, jobs for the county, for the people in the county. So keep on doing what you're doing. We like the growth we see. And what I would like to do is to present this certificate of recognition to the Port of Stockton on its 80th anniversary celebration for the accomplishments over the past 80 years that have enhanced the surrounding communities and the environment. An exciting future is anticipated as the Port of Stockton continues its commitment to leadership and innovation and exports and trade. Congratulations from the Board of Supervisors.
Now I'm very pleased to introduce representative of one of our sister ports in California. And we sent out invitations to every port in California to come tonight. And we got one RSVP. And that was from the Port of San Francisco, which is actually a great friend. And we cooperate on a number of levels on port activities, whether it has to do with legislation or working on infrastructure, the Army Corps of Engineers. So I am very pleased to introduce the Director of Real Estate, Ms. Susan Reynolds of the port, the great port of San Francisco.
Thank you very much for inviting the Port of San Francisco. We're happy to be here, and I'm happy to be here for the second time, as I was here 5 years ago to help you celebrate your 75th. And your numbers are very impressive, and now I know where to go and ask for your revenue numbers are, maybe you'd like to share. We've got a 150-year-old seawall that needs some repair. So now I know where to come. So on behalf of Monique Moyer, our port director, and our commissioners, on behalf of the Port of San Francisco, we'd like to congratulate the Port of Stockton on the celebration of its 80th anniversary. And I'd like to extend an invitation to everyone in this room to come in April to celebrate San Francisco, the Port of San Francisco's 150th anniversary. We are planning a party and hope to see all of you there. And one more shameless plug, go Niners.
Okay, now comes the scariest part of the night. We have a number of our leaders in our community that are here tonight, and we also have a lot of very supportive citizens, our alumni, and I just ask if anybody feels so moved, do you want to come up and say something very briefly? I got a 30-second clock on you. Do I have any takers? Before we start the bidding, by the way, on all this beautiful art, on the walls here, we're going to start, the beer stats start at $100. Do I hear $125? No, anyway, is there anybody that would like to say anything else before we adjourn and go back and enjoy the great food stations from our countries that we do business with?
Yeah, I'd like to say that I'm very happy.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, okay.
Gracie Madrid, I just want to say that I
fine woman.
Oh, yeah.
I am too. I love giving speeches. Anyway, are there any others? We have former presidents of the Greater Stockton Chamber of Commerce here tonight. We have former port directors. We have former who knows who. Anyway, all right, Charlene. This is Charlene Harlett, past director, past president of the Greater Stockton Chamber of Commerce.
You have to stay here because you're there with me. We're a team. And I guess since Doug is obviously not here this evening, I need to represent the chamber and congratulate you, tell you how proud we are. I remember being on JRC when you came in and made your first presentation on the expansion of the port, and it was wonderful. And you've done a wonderful job ever since. We're blessed to have you here in Stockton. Stay.
Thank you.